Let's rock it. Electric Glen, how you doing out there? Come on in, Electric Forest, folks. Make your way into the Electric Glen to hear a panel for the perfect remix with jackLNDN, Vaski, and Illenium. How you guys doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I am excellent. I'm sweating my tits off, but that's par for the course at Electric Forest. So, in search of the perfect remix, we turned to three guys who have turned out some incredible remixes. Jack, let's start with you. Your remix of Clean Bandit was chosen basically as the festival anthem. I mean, that's got to be huge, and also people must be pumped to hear that when they've been watching the video over and over again in the weeks and months leading up to Electric Forest.
Yeah, I have to say, last night I played my first set here. I saved it right till the very end. Yeah, it was the best moment. I think I'll probably play at the end of every set, just if you are planning to come and see me again. Yeah, it was a real honor, and when I first found out that was happening, I was just like, that's great. If anyone comes to my sets, they are going to guarantee that they know that song.
Exactly. How did that fall in your lap? Did you seek that out, or was that brought to you?
It kind of like fell into our lap, and the stems came my way, and I was like, well, I mean, this is a great song. Like, it always has to be a great song for you to feel that, initial, I'm going to do something cool with this. And yeah, luckily it just fell into place. It sounded good. They approved it, and it got released.
That's exciting. I got to imagine that point where you hit send and it's now in their lap has got to be the most grueling 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days of your life until the band actually approves it.
The best way to do that is just start something completely different and forget about it, and then you get rid of the weight, and you also have something else to show for it at the end as well.
Sure. Alex, Vaski, what is it in a song that jumps out to you that grabs you by the throat and says, remix me? What is it? Is it vocals? Is it the melodic hook? Or is it something different every time?
It's definitely something different every time, and it's really hard to say. But, I mean, I'm all about talking about feelings of music. Like I listen to a certain song, and I just feel the way that it makes me feel, and I think of how I can use it in my own way, and like how I can take advantage of what they already have. And with my Sweater Weather remix by The Neighborhood,
which was enormous, and it's an amazing track, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, so that one, I heard the track, and I was like, this is amazing. But then it felt like the whole song was building up to something. Like, I really felt like it was like something was about to happen, and then it just didn't happen and just kept going. I was like, oh, I should totally make a drop for this. And then I made an edit, and then it just became a full remix.
Now, when you have something like that, at this point, you've gained enough notoriety. At this point, are you going out and doing bootlegs, or at this point, do you try and stay away from those and go buy the book and get the stems and do an official remix?
I've only done a few like big official remixes. I mean, the Imagine Dragons one was probably the most notable one. And like I work pretty well with just taking the MP3 and cutting it up. For some reason, I seem to thrive on that, and that's kind of what I've always done. I mean, that's how I did the Sandstorm remix, and that was like legit. Just to cut it up, I just took one bar and then I put my own flavor on it and everything. So yeah, I mean, just working with what you have, and I feel like if something just strikes your fancy and something just catches your attention, then just work with it.
We have Nick here, Illenium, who has also done some huge remixes. Does your management get scared when you go in and grab a bootleg and cut up something that maybe doesn't belong to you? Or is it more like, if it gets taken down or if SoundCloud gets mad at me, we'll try and, bandage that up and promise never to do it again?
It's actually kind of tricky because I got 2 strikes on my SoundCloud right now.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's kind of sketch. The Galantis remix I just put out wasn't technically official. It was approved, but that was like kind of sketchy because I didn't have full label approval. So I was like, if they take it off, my whole SoundCloud could potentially get deleted. But I really loved the song, so fuck it.
Sure, it's worth the risk. I mean, Alex, do you deal with that constant fear that some of these big tracks that you've put out there are either A, going to get you sued, or B, jeopardize your career, which is your SoundCloud account, or other things you have up there, which copyright could totally fuck with?
I mean, some of my songs have been taken down. Like the Sandstorm one has never been able to be on SoundCloud. It's just, I put it up there and it immediately got taken down. The Sweater Weather one's fine, and that's not official. It's totally fine. And then I did a Might Like You Better remix. That was taken down too, but I don't really think about that. If you're feeling a song, you just make it, and then people find a way to find it. You know, just give it out the MP3 or put it somewhere else.
Nick, Illenium, does that process sound familiar to you, or do you have a different approach when you're crafting your own remixes?
No, it's pretty similar actually. I like starting with the vocal too. I mean, the original, I have to, like they've said, I have to be drawn to it, and a lot of times when that's not the vocal, it's either the progression. A lot of times. I love bass music, so I think about the key that it's in, like an F minor or F sharp or G. Like, those are good keys versus, like, C major would kind of suck. So a lot of times I'll actually, like, pitch the vocal differently. And I also think about tempo a lot. But Ableton tempo changing from, like, 128 to 150 sucks. So I use Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops for the win. Alex, I wonder, do you ever... feel a little off changing the original key of the tune, or do you like it to keep that original feel, or do you prefer to change the key so that it really does take on its own flavor? I understand changing the key, introduces a whole slew of problems, but maybe that's something that, you prefer to really make it your own.
Yeah, I mean, I've changed the keys a little bit. I don't want to do it too much because I feel like it really does change it. And it really depends on a song-by-song basis, like what you're feeling with it. And if you change it too much, it can almost become unrecognizable. And especially if it's a girl singer, then, like, you can make her sound like a dude, and it's just kind of weird. And I guess that's kind of a cool thing in Deep House right now. But, at the end of the day, it's still like, oh, it sounds like a man now. Like, you don't want to do that.
The other way is to do both. So you pitch it down an octave and just sort of sneak it in behind. So you've got the high and then the sort of low thing going.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex is actually the veteran on this panel, which is crazy because you're still so young. You guys, when you're coming up and really trying to capture new audiences and new crowds, do you feel like the remix really is the way to get your foot in the door, and maybe it's that blog candy? Or do you feel like maybe you might be leaning on that a little too much? I wonder if that's something you're torn about.
It's just a great way to reach a new audience of people. A lot of people listen to a remix of their favorite artist if they hear one, just because they like to experience their music in a new way. And, it's up to you. If you make a good remix, they may then listen to more of your stuff, provided you're remixing the right people and, doing it with artists who you really believe in and you think make great music. You'll get some crossover fans, even if they're not into dance music. They're like, okay, there's a similarity with flavor or whatever musically here. Let's go check out his music. And hopefully doing a bunch of remixes, that helps that a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's all about, like, a difference of, you want to have remixes and originals. It's about a balance of it. Because if you only have remixes, then I feel like there's not as much legitimacy to it. Like, there's a lot of artists that start off just by doing tons of remixes, and I think that is a really good way to get your foot in the door. Like, it's a good way to spread your sound and have people find out about you. And I think I did that originally without even planning on it. I just, like, liked remixing things. Because we make dance music, and, like, I don't sing. I don't know if... I think you sing sometimes, but it's really great to work with vocals. So it's just fun to have that other element to it. So I feel like if you have a remix, like, you can work with the vocals, and it's a fun thing. So just doing it organically and, like, not necessarily planning it out is pretty important.
Yeah. Plus, you get to pick vocals that are already done versus, if you have an original and you're trying to search for a vocalist, that process can take a really, really long time. So that's one refreshing thing with doing remixes is you get a slew of things to choose from. And, if everything goes well, you just get to contact those artists and get the stems, and, it's fun.
I got to imagine, have you all worked with vocalists in the studio at some point?
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you throw your your laptop at them and say, I wish you were stems at any point?
It's just different to do that. Like, the person who sits in the room and tries to convince a vocalist, no, you're great. Like, you're really good at this. You just chill out about it. Like that. There has to be that type of person who is encouraging of those people to get their best take, because it's all about getting the right take and the right feeling. So if they just sing their heart out, you might get something that's almost there, and then, like, getting them to reproduce that, you really have to sell yourself, and you have to, like, be friends with them almost to get them to do that.
Sure.
I have that inner battle with myself right now as I'm, like, singing on my records, coming up, and I have to, be like, oh, was that good enough? No, that wasn't good enough. Oh, sing better, Jack. Oh, no, get into the vibe. It's like a... It's a new thing because I sang
multiple personalities.
Yeah. No, I sang for a few years, but I wanted to become a producer before I started singing on my records, and now I'm in that sort of stage when I'm experimenting with it again, and it's kind of fun. The results are cool. I snuck it out on a track recently, Fooled Around, and it's actually me singing, but I didn't I didn't spew it out and push it as the main principle of the song. It's just...
It wasn't Jack London featuring Jack London.
Yeah, exactly. I just needed a vocal, so I just recorded a quick one in, and it sort of chopped it up, and it worked. So, but now I'm trying to write songs on, that's all right.
What about live?
Yeah, working on a live show at the moment with a bit of singing, a bit of keys, a bit of Ableton, some drums, and sort of developing that, piecing it together, figuring out how I'm going to day it all out. A bit of vocal harmony as well. I used to sing in vocal groups quite a lot.
Oh, wow, okay.
I can I'm going to try and do vocal looping with live harmonies and just create an environment where I can do a unique set every night. And still I love to DJ and play other people's music and do all of that stuff. But I really can't wait to do an exclusive own music live show, with all the instruments thrown in and stuff like that.
With your background in vocal work, does that allow you to be able to better communicate with the vocalists that you've worked with and really be able to get in there instead of being like, just do it a little better? You're actually able to, speak the language of a vocalist.
Yeah. I've done it since I was 7, so it's been dormant in the last 2-3 years, but now I'm getting so back into it. It's amazing. So I have a good knowledge of technique and stuff, so I can help people if they need to get that extra special sauce on their take.
Sure, that's awesome. Alex, do you have a classical background? Are you coming from a very theory heavy standpoint, or are you a self-taught guy?
I'm very self-taught, but I was in band all through high school. I was in marching band, I was in drumline, I played piano. So I love drums and I love rhythms. But as far as producing, I didn't go to school for producing or anything. I just learned on the internet, with YouTube and all that. You can really learn anything on the internet these days if you try hard and look for it. It's all out there.
Was that a handicap at first for you, not knowing the theoretical part, I need a fifth there? Were you just I just need a different sound there?
Well, I guess I took a year of music theory in high school.
Okay.
So there is that. I always forget that I did that. But yeah, ear training and all that, just you can seriously learn it all on the internet, though. I'm serious. You don't have to go to school for it. You can just figure it out on your own. And I think that's what's so great about music today is if you do figure it out on your own, then you figure out in a really creative way. And you're coming from a very unique place.
Totally. It's all original. That's right. Alex said drop out of school. You can
I did not say drop out of school.
I did.
Nick, I'm wondering, because you have such a great catalog of remixes that a lot of people identify with, when you go to produce an original, do you feel I got to stay in this particular vein, or do you feel like you really have to distance yourself from all the stuff that you've done before and make something completely different so that you can show you're not tied down to one singular thing?
Yeah, it's a lot of times with the originals that I've been doing recently, they've actually just started melodic and then turned to trap. Just because it's fun. I don't know.
It's 2015.
Yeah, whatever. But right now I actually have 3 originals done that are all vocal that I started without the vocal. And it was a really fun process just to focus on giving room, putting exactly what you need instrumentally and then just envisioning some sort of vocal without getting too tied down to an idea. Because if you get... if I get super stoked on this idea I have in my head, and then the vocalist sends back something different, I'm just going to be disappointed, even if it's awesome.
How have you found the vocalists that you've been working with?
Just finding artists that I like Jack just remixed Montgomery, and I'm working on a tune with her, and she's super, super good. And then
she has the vibe.
Oh my God, all the feels. And and then there's Oh Wonder's huge. I haven't done an original, but we've been talking about the idea of doing an original with them, and they're killing it right now. And then that they have a specific sound. All these people have a specific sound, and Phoebe's really poppy. The Phoebe Ryan remix I did, and I have a song that's similar to that. I like a certain sound. So,
do you? How do I put this delicately? Are you able to be an asshole when you need to be? And I gotta imagine it's difficult, as you're saying. Somebody's super talented, and you got to tell them, do it better, do it different? I got to imagine that's a challenge.
You know, it's actually pretty hard. I had one song where I had vocals, like, they're done, and then the song is done, but I just am not in love with it. And so, yeah, you do. You know, if I don't love something, like, as much as I possibly can, I'm not going to put it out. And I have to, like, at least think it's as good or better than a song that I've put out, you know, in the past. And so I definitely believe in that. Don't just put music out because, you know, you have it. Put it out because you love it, you know.
That's a great philosophy. Alex, you know, you've got this huge back catalog of music, and you've been producing for so long, and you've evolved through so many styles. Do you ever feel like you're actually competing with yourself? Like, shit, this isn't better than a Vaski track from 2013 or 2011?
I don't feel like I'm competing with myself in that way. I feel like sometimes I'm competing with the work that I already did because people think of me in a specific way. They think, oh, I'm super established in this way, and then now I do this other thing. So it's conflicting in that way. But no, I never feel like I'm competing against myself. I feel like I've done all these things that are really great, and I want to do other things that are different. That's all it is. I feel like it's actually inspiring to see, like, oh, I did this and I love this, and like now it's time for new challenges and like time to like open up new fields. And then I started to experiment quite a bit, and now it's like pretty much all like future sounds and like really, it's really my own vein of it. You know, like I don't think that I sound like Flume or like anybody like that. I just kind of am inspired by all the, you know, people can take melodies and they can put it into a bass line now in a way that you weren't able to do 4 years ago. And that's amazing to me because when I was making dubstep in like 2009, like we didn't have the same, there wasn't the same technology and like all the same VSTs. The way that things have grown is crazy. There's so many more plugins and so many more VSTs, and it's just amazing how the field has opened up so much. So it's very exciting for me to just be able to see, oh, I can make any kind of music that I'm feeling, and I feel like I found a good vein. I mean, my EP just came out 2 weeks ago on Hot Damn, and I have a track, Laser Love, coming out in a few days. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming out.
This isn't an easy question to answer, but, you know, there are the Vaski fans from 2009, 2010, and when you see them, you know, trolling your page as, you know, the internet's blown you up, and it can also hurt you. I mean, when you see it like, oh, we like the Vaski from, you know, XYZ era, we like this song, you know, what does that do to your creative process? Or do you have to just say, fuck you, troll, and ignore them?
I don't know, I guess that. Like, if somebody's upset about it, like, you can be upset. I don't care. I make the music that I want to make, and those songs that I made are going to be there forever. You can continue to listen to them. Like this other person on the internet, they have no business telling me what I should do or what I should make. And if they're not happy with what I make, then that's fine. They can find happiness somewhere else.
That's a very Zen philosophy. I love that, Alex. That's great. So Jack, you know, Alex was mentioning a few things in the pipeline. What do you got coming out soon? It sounds like this vocal album is on the horizon.
Brewing. I got a track coming out. It's coming out on the in a few days, in fact. It's called Firing Line. It's coming out on Nervous Records out of New York City.
Nice.
It's a much more housey cut. It's like just showing a bit of variety, like throwing something out there that people haven't heard from me before. Got a little bit of the Ibiza vibe, a little bit of that sort of piano house vibe. It's nice. Cool, it's fun. And then an EP around the corner as well. That's coming out. It's going to be real fun. It's coming out on Ultra.
Ooh!
And then, I'm doing a singing on that one as well, like a little bit of chopped up vocal samples of me and some other really great guest vocalists, but we're keeping that on the DL for now.
That's exciting. It's exciting. And Nick, Illenium, what do you got in the pipe?
I got this. I actually played it today. A Kill Paris remix. The song "Operate," a vocal with Royal. I love that song.
Love us some Corey. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. I remixed that. That's coming out. I think next week actually. And then I think in 2 or 3 weeks I got a song with Said the Sky that's coming out. And then there's an AU5 and Fractal remix of it too that I'll be pushing. And then I have the 3 original tracks too. So lots of music.
That's awesome. Jack, you're playing on Tripoli on Saturday. Do you guys have any secret sets that I don't know about?
I'm playing the Silent Disco again at 1 tonight.
Ooh.
And again on Sunday I'm playing the Tripoli stage.
Awesome.
Well, man, they wouldn't be secret if I told you.
Good answer.
That's a good point. jackLNDN, Vaski, and Illenium. Thank these guys so much for performing this weekend. We'll be doing more panels tomorrow. Check your schedules on Sunday as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy the Electric Glen. Play with all the toys. Sign up to win free tickets to Electric Forest 2016. And you guys have a good forest. We'll see you soon.